harrowing details coming out of San Bernardino County, California in the last few hours. This is pertaining to the father of missing 7-month-old baby Emmanuel Haro. Jake Haro is an absolute rotter. I'm going to call it right here. I don't think baby Emmanuel is with us anymore. I don't think there's anybody, not the cops, not the media, not anybody I've spoke to about this case, believes the story that Rebecca Haro, Jake's wife and little baby Emmanuel's mother, is the truth in any way, shape or form. If you remember, last Thursday, Rebecca Haro reported to the police that she was changing baby Emmanuel's diaper in the parking lot of the Big Five sporting goods store. She said she was confronted from behind. She was then punched in the eye. Well, eyes are at the front of the head, so how could she not get any glimpse of this attacker? But she didn't. But she was knocked to the floor, and when she came round, baby Emmanuel was gone. That is a complete and total lie. Unfortunately, there's no cameras at the front of the Big Five, but the cops believe that there's foul play. The cops don't believe this story. They don't believe baby Emmanuel was kidnapped. Well, in the last few hours, NewsNation have reported the horror that Jake Haro unleashed on his 10-week-old baby daughter. So I'm going to warn you right here, this is as bad as it gets. But let's talk about it. Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Thursday morning, the 21st of August, and as I said in the intro, this is as bad as it gets. So fair warning, there's going to be photos shown here that are of a little girl who has lifelong injuries. And when we say lifelong injuries, we really mean lifelong injuries. This girl has 3% of her brain function. She was a perfectly healthy, normal 10-week-old baby until Jake Haro, her father, got his hands on her. Click out now if you don't want to hear and see the horror that Jake Haro, baby Emmanuel Haro's dad, unleashed on a 10-week-old baby.
To be clear, there have been no charges filed against Jake or Rebecca Haro, and Jake's attorney insisted right here on this show last night that his client, Jake Haro, is cooperating.
Yeah, well, let's backtrack a day, shall we? Because Ashley Banfield, on her show, she had Jake Haro's lawyer, and he's a slippery character. Couldn't get his story straight. Very clear that he's not representing Rebecca, the mother with the black eye, with the bullshit story. But finally, Ashley got him to admit that Emmanuel's 2-year-old sister has been taken away from the family. Yet another child that has been taken out of Jake Haro's presence, out of his life. How this man is allowed to keep having children, I don't know. This guy needs to be sterilised. This guy needs to be castrated. He should not be allowed to do this to another child. This is the lawyer.
This, KTLA is reporting that the Harrow's 2-year-old has been removed from the home. Is that true?
That's what everybody's stating. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Harrow have not been
he's your client. Has your client told you? Do you know from your client if he's lost his 2-year-old child?
He told me that he doesn't have, that the child has been removed and law enforcement wanted them to produce the child. Yes, he did produce the child. As far as is the child in the home, no. Mr. Harrow does not have his 2-year-old and is not being allowed access to his 2-year-old, even though no criminal filing has taken place. They had the children before this alleged incident with no criminal case filed. So I don't know what changed. There's nothing here that's been provided that they did anything unfoot to these children.
Nothing that he's done to these children. Well, where is baby Emmanuel? The reason why the 2-year-old was removed from the home is because the cops know, they just can't prove it yet, that something horrible happened to baby Emmanuel. Past behaviour predicts future behaviour. Sometimes, a lot of the time, not all of the time, but in this case, I'm going to call it that Jake Harrow's horrific past behaviour has directly caused baby Emmanuel's disappearance. I don't believe baby Emmanuel is alive. Let's be clear. Have I been wrong before? Yeah. But in this case, I think something really bad happened to baby Emmanuel, and Rebecca Harrow has been put up to telling this bullshit story. She's been put in the firing line. I think she's lying. I think she's a battered wife. I feel sorry for her if that's the case, but she's going along with this charade. But let's listen to what this little baby, name of Promise, had to endure and what her life is like now.
Tonight it is Jake's past, however, that is becoming a lot more worrisome. Yesterday we learned about his felony child cruelty conviction, the one that put him in jail for 6 months back in 2023. Both Jake and his ex-wife Vanessa Avila pleaded guilty to the charges, and tonight we have learned that crime was committed against his own 10-week-old baby girl, a child who survived but suffered horrendous lifelong injuries. We've got photos of the child, and I should tell you that the family has given us permission to show those photos, likely as a warning about Jake Harrow. But I do want to tell you this. When we show you those photos, they are quite disturbing, so fair warning in advance. Here is the little girl in her hospital bed, 10 weeks old. She is recovering here from several fractures to her ribs, to her skull, and to her legs. She is also recovering from a brain hemorrhage.
This little girl survived. One hell of a fighter. But this is what her father did to her. And I'm going to tell you what happened to Jake Harrow. He was imprisoned for just 6 months. 6 months. Make that make sense. And then he's just been out on probation, living his life, abusing other children. This little girl will never walk, talk, swallow. She has 3% of brain function left. This little girl survived, but what a life this little girl has for the rest of her life. Jake Harrow deserves to be castrated, shackled, and kept in an 8x10 cell for the rest of his life. This man should not be walking the streets. This man should not have been allowed to do this to another child. And I totally believe that baby Emmanuel has been Jake Harrow's victim.
This little girl was eventually removed from the Harrow home, and she was adopted by one of Vanessa's cousins. That cousin has cared for this little girl and even renamed her. Her new name is Promise Faith. According to the cousin, Promise is now 7 years old. But take a look at this picture. The damage that she suffered from those injuries was permanent. Promise was left blind. Promise was left unable to walk. Promise was left unable to talk and unable to swallow due to strangulation. We are told from this cousin that Promise has 3% brain function, that Promise needs a feeding tube, and that Promise will need round-the-clock care for the rest of her life.
That is absolutely horrendous. And the man that caused this, baby Promise's own father, got 6 months in prison. 6 months. 6 months. This little girl can't even swallow. This little girl will never taste food. She has no discernible life, yet she's alive. And bless Vanessa's cousin, Vanessa being Jake Harrow's ex-wife, bless her, because she's not only taken on this little girl, she's also taken on another of Jake's throwaway children, a little boy who was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. And now she's even looking after the 2-year-old, Emmanuel's sister. So no blood relation to Vanessa's cousin, as far as I know. These children that Jake Harrow keeps having, that he's abusing and throwing away, a kind cousin of his ex-wife is taking on these children. Bless her. Now, the cops have responded to the situation.
Hey, Lou, good afternoon. Yeah, the public, understandably, is consumed with this story of a missing baby who may have been harmed. But the big question, exactly who is to blame? The parents are under scrutiny. And today we have new reports of a possible sighting in Kern County and also reports of a house fire in the parents' neighborhood.
I don't believe that baby Emmanuel is alive, so the sighting in Kern County, I don't believe is him. Obviously, the police have got to chase it up. The fire down the street is apparently not connected to this current situation.
At this time, there is no information or evidence indicating any connection between the house fire and missing boy. As authorities follow potential leads, they continue to delve into the parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro, who say a stranger jumped Rebecca last Thursday in the parking lot of a sporting goods store in Yucaipa as she was changing the baby's diaper in her car. She says the attacker knocked her unconscious, and when she awoke, 7-month-old Emmanuel was gone. San Bernardino County detectives, however, say her story is filled with inconsistencies, and when they pressed her, she refused to cooperate. Father Jake has retained an attorney who insists his client has done nothing wrong and only seeks the safe return of his child. San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies have searched the parents' property and seized a vehicle for examination. They've also collected cell phones, iPads, and other electronics, and they even used cadaver dogs in the search. We have learned that Jake Haro was convicted of child cruelty 2 years ago, but his attorney says Haro completed a 1-year child abuse prevention course. Attorney Vincent Hughes spoke to Ashley Banfield with the NewsNation network.
I reached out to the assigned detective and made Jake available. Jake wants to cooperate. Jake doesn't like the fact that nobody's listening. Court of public opinion is already out. Even yourself, it sounds like you guys already have your mind made up. Jake has voluntarily provided the electronic devices that there was a search warrant for, including the passwords.
If he's abused and possibly caused the death of baby Emmanuel, there's not going to be stuff on his phone. He's got rid of this child. I'm quite confident that he's got rid of this child. It's as bad as it gets. This is absolutely horrific. Rot in hell, Jake Haro. You are... I have no words. I have absolutely no words. But let me know your words in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.